Hi everyone! So I recently decided to start Sunday Sparkles, which is basically, I'm going to pop a link in the description below, and it's basically for people to ask for a little bit of advice, send across images of designs they can't quite figure out how to do, or they want to see how I would do it, blah blah blah, and then I will ideally aim to make a quick video every Sunday, like 10-15 minutes, just going through how I would do the design. So the first request I have had was for marble nails. So I've done 2 in acrylic and 1 with gel polish. So with this acrylic, I have started off with HD Pro in natural, and I've also used Rosy Peachy Rose, whichever one it is, and then the gold, I can't remember the name, but I'll put it in the description below. So what I'm doing is I'm getting small beads of the acrylic, quite wet, placing them on the nail, and then I'm just using the tip of my brush to just swirl and blend them together. So you can swirl in circles, figure of eights, whatever you like. I'm trying to do this across the nail, so I'm just swirling back and forth gently across the nail, and I'm just adding a little more white, a little more gold, a little more nude whenever I feel they need it. So don't blend them too much, otherwise it all kind of blurs into one. But with this one, I just wanted to create a really subtle, very gentle, kind of delicate marble colour. So I'm just finishing it off now, and then I'll put this to one side so that it can set. I lied, I'm not going to let it set yet. I'm going to use my wet brush to pick up little bits of gold chrome flakes, and I'm placing these on the nail too, just to add a few little accents there. And then I will put it aside to let it set. No, I'm not actually. This one I'm going to cap because it's set enough. Oh, I literally did the snail like 2 seconds ago. So I'm going to place these little bits of gold chrome on there, and then I'm going to cap the nail in clear acrylic. Now my next design was using Polar White, Cranberry Crush and Palace, and I did it all beautifully and then realised that I hadn't pressed record, so I quickly scraped it off the nail and started again. So I'm getting a big bead of the white and then smaller beads of the pinky red and the lilac, and with this I'm swirling in like figures of eights, up, down, every single direction, because this one I'm wanting to have kind of more of like a marbly inky, proper like all over the place marble nail rather than a kind of sweeping across the nail. So I always try and make sure that the main colour that I'm using, I put more of that on. So obviously I'm working mainly with white here, and then just coming in with the tip of my brush and just cutting through. Again, I don't want to swirl too many times because then it will make them one big blob. I put a little bit more acrylic than I needed, but I'm not too bothered. Obviously when you're working on a client, the acrylic will set faster because of the heat from the client's fingers. So when I'm working on a tip, it does kind of run a little bit, but that won't happen on a client. I'm just going to let that set up a bit, and then I'm going to cap that in clear acrylic. Now don't worry if when you do this design it's a little bit lumpy bumpy. Cap in clear, and then when you file in, if you file into the colour, it doesn't matter, because of the marbling it will just bring through that pattern. So I'm going to cap that in clear, and then when I file it in, you'll still have a beautiful marble nail. And then the final marble nail I'm doing is with gel polish. So I'm going to apply 2 coats of a white gel polish, and making sure that it is a tacky gel polish, not tack free. And on the second coat of gel polish, once it's cured, I'm going to use a little detailer brush to pop a little bit of black gel polish. And I'm just going to do some nice kind of sweeping lines with a nice amount of movement to them, just on the nail. Not too many, just a few. I'm then going to use a bit of alcohol on my brush, so your prep solution or similar, and I'm going to blur out those lines. So I'm going to do a little bit at a time, just using that prep to blur out that line and add that shadow and shade. And I'm just going to keep going until I'm happy with how that looks. So I'm quite happy with how that's looking now. So I'm going to cure that in my LED light for 30 or 60 seconds, depending on what your gel polish requires. I'm then going to come in with a nude gel polish. This is one of the accent gel polishes. I shall pop the name in the description below. And I'm just going to add this as a bit of detail. And then what I'm going to do is exactly the same as I've just done. Using my alcohol, I'm just going to blur that out. And again, when I'm happy with that, I'm going to cure in my LED light. Then once it's all cured, I'm going to use some of my Accents Gel Play just to add a few highlights, just to add a bit of glitter, a bit of shimmer, just to create a few highlights in that design. And then when I'm happy with those highlights, I'm just going to cure this in my LED lamp, and this I cure for a good 90 seconds. And when the design is all complete, I'm going to cap that all in my top gloss. Here I'm using Accents Shine On, and then I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds in my LED light. And back to the acrylic designs. They've been filed in, and now I'm going to top coat them, and again I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds in my LED light. As you can see, that first one is a nice, subtle, very delicate design. Just gives more of a smoky effect than a full-on marble effect. Whereas the bright colour, you can see it gives, I think this is like, I consider these like my raspberry ripple nails, because they look like lovely swirly colours. And with that you can use any colours you like. And there you go guys, so there is 3 different ways to marble with nails. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!